Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Transform Tales podcast. This is the podcast where we explore the power of change in our lives and communities. I'm your host, Brooke, and in each episode, we'll be chatting with inspiring individuals about the transformations they've experienced, whether it's in their personal lives, careers, or the communities they serve. Today, I have Charles Mansfield III with me. Do we go full name? We like it?
We can do that. I like the third.
All right. Do you have any fun facts you like to share with people?
My go-to is probably I was CMU's mascot. So I was the Scotty dog.
Why did I not know this?
Fun fact. It actually is on my LinkedIn.
Wow. Okay. I did no research here. It was such a terrible. How do you fall into something like that? Did you want to do it? Did someone just ask you?
So I had been a mascot in high school.
Okay.
Purely because I had a crush on the band girl.
I love it.
That was the only reason. That was the biggest reason. I had no talent for.
Do they really have like conventions for mascots when you get to the college, like the meetups? Is that real?
Well, not in D3.
Okay.
Probably.
All right.
Probably if I was at Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also a washed up D3 athlete, so I understand.
Yeah. Probably
okay.
if I was at Auburn, like those mascots are actual athletes.
Twirling things, fire.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So my story with becoming the mascot at CMU, I don't know. I didn't get into a lot of things I applied for at CMU.
Okay. Because it's really easy school to be the best at everything.
It was just everything was weirdly competitive.
Okay.
And so when it came to like, oh, I need a job, and like I can mascot, and like it was like after COVID, and so like I don't think there had been like a mascot in
a while.
Yeah. Right. And so I would like went on like the end of some forum somewhere on like some backwards CMU website, athletics website from like 5 years prior, and like it had said, oh, looking for a mascot. It was like 2016. Like email this person. And I was just like, I'll email them. Let's see if the same email. Not a lot changes in academia. And they responded and they were like, oh my God, we're going to post it on like a week later. But now we don't have to. And I finally secured like budget to pay the mascot too.
Oh.
So I was just like, oh, this is perfect.
So it all worked out. Did you get the girl?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, that's like a whole story.
All right. We don't have to. I just, that would have been if you were like, yeah. And then, here we are. But since I jumped ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. There's people here that aren't going to know you as well as I do, and know how much fun you are and how much energy you have.
So I'm Charles, originally from Maryland, 20 minutes outside DC. Came to Pittsburgh in 2019 to go to Carnegie Mellon. Mainly did government stuff until I was like, I like having an impact and doing things. I probably can't do that here unless I'm old and rich. And so it was, I was like a junior and I was like, what else is there to do? Mm-hmm. Eventually stumbled into kind of the world of startups and venture. Started working with the venture capital fund while I was a student remotely, and just fell in love with the craft and the scene of startups and the craft of venture and the entire space. And now I do everything startups in Pittsburgh. I go to all the events, know everyone, all the founders, funders, corporates, Brooks, all of the Brooks. Kind of look at all the data all the time. Like I have PitchBook on my phone. Like I'm constantly in the weeds on what's happening. From like how many companies do we have? How fast are they growing? How does this compare to other places? And then I'm like, all right, cool. What can we do to make it easier for these companies to do cool stuff here?
Yeah. Tell everyone your title because I love your title.
Startup Ecosystem Manager.
Did you get to pick that yourself? Or
yeah,
was
I did.
Okay. I was going to say,
I just decided. So like, my original title actually was not Startup Ecosystem Manager.
Okay.
I just made a Startup Ecosystem Manager because I was like, the other one was just too complicated.
It was like project manager of something boring, and you were like, no, guys.
Yeah, it was actually Ecosystem Community and Research Manager.
Oh.
Which is just, like.
Sounds very academic.
It does sound very academic. But like this one fit better. I actually had a call with the only other Startup Ecosystem Manager in existence the other week.
Recently?
Yeah, it was weird. It was like
just the two of you.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, you're Startup Ecosystem Manager. I'm Startup Ecosystem Manager. Like this is great.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I know some of these things about you. But look, I already learned a new fact. Like, can't believe you were a Did you get to keep the get up or?
No.
Okay.
That get-up's been there since like '08 or something.
Oh, it's time for a new one. Funding for a new one.
Yeah. That was actually the hottest thing I've ever worn. Like my high school mascot, the suit was like had a lot better ventilation.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm surprised they haven't tried to make that like an automated.
CMU was pretty low tech.
Okay.
For like.
I don't know, just like as a fun project for like I don't know.
It would be a fun project. It's just like I don't know, a lot of things. It's like we're so good technically, but
focus is in other places.
Yeah, not on admin.
Yeah. Well, I have to know what you're doing today. Think back 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's think when you were young, when you can, remember.
Yeah.
What did you want to do?
I'm 24 now, so like when I was 4.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know how old you were. That's why I said 15, 20. I felt like 15, you would have been like, I'm on my third career choice by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was a boss baby.
Yeah. Exactly like the movie. Perfect.
Yeah. What did I want to be? I wanted to have a house on the beach in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Like I went through a couple periods where like, I was in middle school and I was like, oh, like maybe I could be like a biologist or like a therapist. And then my family was like, none of these things are making us any money.
Get it together.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. And so I don't know. I think for me, I was always like pretty early I kind of became like I kind of got aware of like the fact of like, oh yeah, my parents are just doing this for the first time. And like no one kind of knows what they're doing generally. And like I kind of had that like awakening when I was in like middle school. Like it was like elementary, middle school. I was just like, no one has any idea what they're doing, so I just gotta figure shit out.
Yeah, like your math teacher's teaching this for like the first, like it's
yeah,
new
like
for
like
everyone.
this is I have some beef with my middle school math teacher.
I did my research clearly.
but like no one knows what they're doing. Like everyone's kind of like figuring it out for the first time. And so that means the onus is on me to figure out what I want. And like I was already kind of there. And I think I don't know, I think the through line that connected that period to like kind of the journey I eventually went on in my career, and figuring out like, okay, like what do I want to do, what are the spaces I want to be in, was just like a frustration that no one else. It felt like it was like we're all just like kind of just like, oh yeah, this is the way that things are. Obviously this is the best way for things to be. And like I don't know, it just felt frustrating, especially when I cared so deeply about like just things, just random things that happen in the world.
Do you think you're at a good place now with where your passion is and what your career currently is? Obviously, it's ever changing, and I'm sure your tasks at Innovate are off the wall sometimes, and you're like, I didn't know this fell on my hat, but here we go.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're at a good balance right now?
I spent maybe 6 years like constantly asking myself what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Like I am just like it's really funny. Like in some ways, like I'm very type B when it comes to like these very like kind of existential questions. I was like, no, I have to get it right. And so like I don't know, like it doesn't work. That approach might not work for a lot of people. For me, I think it really worked, right? Because I was doing so like when I was a freshman at CMU and I kind of came in, I knew I wanted to have an impact, right? I was a behavioral economics major. I was like, I knew I wanted to have an impact. I knew I wanted to like kind of try to do my best to fix all the world's problems, right? Like,
just all of them, not one. Let's take them all on.
Just try to do my best.
You didn't want just world hunger. You said world hunger, poverty,
everything,
water.
Everything. Just throw it all.
Just give it to me. Okay.
Just give it to me. I'll nerd out about it. And so my kind of early internship experience was all government relation, like just government related things. So like I did government relations. I worked for in constituent services for like the governor and the congressman, and I kind of worked with trade associations. I worked with the trade association for land surveyors,
Okay.
and just like up and down the stack of like government or government related things. And it was enough that like by my junior year, I was like, I care so deeply about the craft of creating good policy and having an impact on people. And I didn't feel that, I don't know, that care was institutionally like rewarded or institutionally like
Okay.
incentivized. I like when I said earlier, like it was one of those things where it's like, I'll come back when I'm old and rich.
Then we'll really
we'll do cool stuff then, but like
put your name
like,
up on a CMU building.
No. You'll see. You'll feel it.
Okay. Oh, I like it. It's better.
You'll feel it. You won't see it.
Ooh, okay.
And like I don't know, just like that feeling of and frustration, right? The feeling of like I want to like do things to like help people. Like that's what this is for. And not really feeling that kind of same energy matched in those spaces. And so like I could do DC, like I can network. I can
How's their
do all
bus
that.
system though? Do we?
I mean, in the city it's pretty good.
Okay.
But most people don't live in the city.
I was gonna say I just know that's important to you. So.
Yeah, I do love a good bus system. Shout out #nerd.
The Christmas present for you, sir. You already know what it is, but that's when I'm giving it to you.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of tying the loop on your question on kind of that passion alignment. When I discovered like the startup world, it was like a personality fit to like the nth degree. It was like, oh wow, here are also people that like wanna kind of change their slice of the world and are just like doing it and kind of like have that same care and passion and conviction. And like on the venture side, right? The concept of like one like random kind of anecdote about me that I think like makes so much sense in the concept in the context of like startups and venture is like when I was like a student at in college or even in high school, like one of my favorite pastimes would be being on NBA Twitter and like being deep in like building in like the NBA draft process, right?
Okay.
And like looking at like Lithuanian film and like figuring out like how to like kind of transfer over stats from Lithuanian league to like D2 NCAA and like having like hours long debates on an NBA draft Twitter group chats around like for like me defending like random Turkish prospect that I think is nice.
Okay.
Right, like, and I'm like, yeah, this guy, you guys don't get it yet, but like, this guy's nice.
But you had the data.
But like, all the data is like fluff, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like startups, right? It's the same thing. It's like
Say what
you
will.
really have to like build your case for each prospect brick by brick and understand like exactly what makes them tick and make a good case as to like why you think that's going to transfer to the league. And so like there was something in that like, oh yeah, finding random Turkish prospect that like I thought was nice that like no one else did, and like defending it to the death in the
That was
group
your
chat.
unicorn right there.
Yeah, exactly. Defending it to the death in the group chat, and then like there's nothing better than it blowing for NBA ballers, for hoopers out here. Like Alperen Şengün was my guy. Like when he like I defended him to the death in the NBA Twitter group chats, and like when he became an all-star this year, it was like I don't know, like it's something.
Full circle.
I felt that.
Yeah. Well, that actually does explain a lot. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that insight, because I
Yeah.
feel like that gives a really good the way like your mind and your emotion and your passion all tie into like
Yeah.
how you look at your life and like what you're
Yeah.
doing. So great share. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, do you feel that from the time you know, we're gonna maybe own part of the beach in Miami
Yeah.
to today
We're
and what
just
you're
own a
doing?
small house.
Or a small, okay, have a nice little beach house,
Yeah.
just a beach house, whatever
Yeah.
that was. Do you feel like success looks different to you now?
Yeah, I think back then it was um freedom,
Okay.
right? Like back then it was like and like there's still a little bit of that. I mean, like I still like the concept of like just like having my like fireplace and hot chocolate and like just like chilling
Yeah.
and like I love that. I'm gonna be doing that one of these days. But like I love that concept. But like secondarily, like this right, that like seed of frustration turned into like if I like um if I do nothing to like change and to do nothing to change the things I care about, right? To make a positive impact on the things I'm frustrated with, like what was the point? Right? Like I'm not gonna be like 60 and be like 80 or sorry, people are 60. I'm not gonna be like 80 and and be like and look back and just like, oh yeah, these I'll just still be complaining about the same stuff. Like
You're a
that's
doer.
death.
You're
That
yeah.
I'd rather have died young than that
Oh,
than that. Like that sounds like what that for me that's like a waste of a life.
Okay. I mean, I would agree with you
Yeah.
from like the way my personality is and the way I feel about the things I'm passionate
Yeah.
about. Why are we all sitting around complaining? Like, let's
Yeah,
take some
let's do
action.
it.
We might fail,
Yeah, cool.
but we'll figure something else
Yeah.
out. Well, tell me about some of the things you're doing right. I know you're doing a lot of things,
Yeah.
but some of the things you're doing right now that are working to promote this ecosystem that you're
Yeah.
trying to build, support the people that are already here and have the same ideology as you, and like what else the rest of us need to do to elevate that.
So, what do I do?
What don't you do, Charles?
uh, so I love supporting founders,
Mhm.
right? Like kind of that one-on-one. I can connect you with this person. I've seen a decent amount of pitch decks, so it'll be like, oh yeah, that's probably a red flag there, and that's probably like what you're gonna get a question on, and like some of that like ad hoc like one-on-one support. That's cool. You That's not what my value to Pittsburgh is. That's not what I do for the city, right? What I do for the city is I like to say kind of like give and execute on answers, right? For how do we systematically make it easier for these companies to do cool stuff. Right. So like beyond me, like what are like the gaps in the network, right?
Mhm.
What are the gaps at each part of the stack, right? So right now, and for anyone who's been following, they know this, but like we are absurdly undercapitalized for the amount of good companies in the city, like relative to basically every place in North America, every city. This is one of the worst if raising at pre-seed seed is part of the fundamental business strategy. It's just the amount of competition for the little amounts of capital is like absurd. And so every like flaw or kind of every company that moves away, I think is in a lot of ways like a follow on effect from that. And so that's what I'm pushing, right? I'm like, how do we, facilitate more angel networks, right? How do we kind of facilitate the development of more funds? How do we just plug that hole? Because like I don't know, like if we want higher quality programs, who runs that in every other city? It's the private capital, right? Like if we want a better marketed ecosystem, who does that? It's the private capital, right? If we want companies to stop feeling that they have to move away at pre-seed seed because it's easier to raise 100K, 200K, 300K, 400K in any other city for most of them, like what does that mean we should do, right? Like, it means we need more private capital,
Yeah.
or at least to connect the dots to the private capital that we have here to the companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, I will say one thing. I don't think a lot of the other cities are going to beat our rent prices.
they won't. They won't.
There's a lot of moving parts to that.
Yeah.
And I know this is something that you can go many different directions
can
in.
go, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
we
yeah.
can. This can be its own series
Yeah.
if we wanted it to. But what is one thing that you're actively doing? Because the end of the year is coming. Like we're at
Yeah.
Q4, it's here.
Yeah.
We're looking at 2026. Is there something you're working on right now, either as an individual with
Yeah.
Innovate, the board you said, like
Yeah.
to elevate what the thing that you're talking about right now?
Um.
And it's also okay if there's no.
Yeah. No, I'm always doing things.
I know, but
Yeah.
you can breathe. You can
Yeah.
take a break.
Yeah. And I think the next couple months are gonna be. I'm hoping to have some really fun things to announce next year, but like I think the next couple months are gonna be like real heads down. Like I think kind of tactically, both like what I would love for anyone listening that kind of resonates with what I'm talking about. But like tactically what I'm doing is like break out the Excel sheet on like who's every single former founder, high net worth, institution, right, that's touched the cities and touched the startup scene in the last 15 years. Just breaking down the Excel sheet one by one by one by one by one, building relationships. Right? Like there's no top down going to do this. It's like that's just how it's going to get done.
There's
So that's what
layers.
I'm doing, right? Like,
Yeah.
like it kind of starts and ends there because I'm like, that's what we've been missing, right? Like, no one, not enough salespeople, right? Not enough salespeople, and then also not enough marketing. So it's like no one knows what's happening, and so it's like that's.
But we market ourselves really well to each other,
Yeah, we do,
which is hysterical. It's such a like a bubble
Yeah.
effect. I don't know. That's a weird thing we do. We're all
Yeah.
like, "Oh, everything's so great," and they're like, Where are you talking about?"
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Brooke, you're an anomaly. Like you're like the best. I think probably the best podcaster in the scene.
Okay, calm down. I
Yeah.
super appreciate that. I
Yeah.
just am trying to.
It's you and Adam fighting.
I'm just trying to bring attention to things that I
Yeah.
think people in this area care about, and
Yeah.
hopefully soon more on a larger scale, like national, and get the right people together. So
Yeah.
that's what this is. If 15 people who didn't know you heard this when this is over,
Dope.
that's
Please reach out if
15
you're interested in Pittsburgh startups.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
15 more people, or maybe just connecting more people who are up the street in Columbus to people here. I
Dope.
mean, it's important.
Yeah.
They kind of went through a resurgence that we're trying to get to right now,
Yeah.
like 15, 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
we have a lot to learn from the people right up the road.
Yeah.
It's really
I love our Columbus siblings. Shout out like Wolfstar and then that whole crew.
Yes.
He's
great.
Yeah,
great
he's my
people.
goat.
Yeah. You have a few.
Yeah, I do.
That's okay. That's all right. Well, tell me about I know some things. I think the first time, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
One of the first times we met outside of like meeting up and having a coffee was at What's Your Business Idea?
Yeah, with Max.
Yes. Tell me what sparked that. Was there something that was missing here? You've met a lot of people through it. Like,
Yeah, it's been great. What sparked that was I think I'd written an article in like 23
okay.
on like Gen Z entrepreneurship or something like that in the city. It was one of those articles I wrote back then, and Max had seen it, and he had just moved back into the city. And we were both in Venture for America, which was the same fellowship program that connected recent grads to startup and startup adjacent opportunities, especially in these tier 2, tier 3 tech cities. He was just a couple years older, and so that was the reason he reached out. He was trying to get plugged back into the Pittsburgh ecosystem. And we had one coffee chat, Red Hawk in Oakland. It's probably scheduled for like 30 minutes. We probably went to an hour, blah, blah. And he was telling me about his experience and like the kind of the programs he ran in Birmingham and other cities.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, what if we did like this kind of like low barrier to entry pitch event? And I know I like competence. Right? I like working with competent people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super clear to me the first time we met. I was like, I'm going to love you.
This is it.
like you're very competent and
Yeah.
I need competent people in this ecosystem to do stuff.
Yeah.
And so like, let's do it. Right. Like, in a lot of ways, I think what people get wrong on the kind of programming, entrepreneurial support side of things, especially in a city like Pittsburgh, is like, sometimes we get in our heads on like, oh, like this kind of group of people does do these things. This kind of group of people does these things. This group of people does do these things. You should do that. You should do that. And maybe we should coordinate sometime. No good ecosystem has ever been started like that, right? Like, and it can turn into yeah, like this group of people say they're going to do these things, but do those things actually get done?
Mhm.
Right. And it's most important that things get done for founders, right? And that we execute well in the program that we have, right? And so when I see opportunities, right, and I'm always like this, right? I love opportunities to partner, but I'm also like, when I see opportunities with people with energy and competence, like want to do cool stuff,
You're there.
I'm like, yeah, you run our one with you. And so that was the case with Max, and it's turned out amazing, splendidly.
Yeah, don't
Uh,
you might not right now, but I
yeah.
know you had posted about it. How do you know how many founders have pitched? You had a rough estimate, I think.
Yeah. Think we're aiming for 100 total by the end of the year.
That's awesome.
So we're like, it was like 50 year one. We're gonna running up on year two, something like that. So that's like,
That's progress.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get excited. It's been a great like, uh, again like kind of funnel for a lot of the grassroots founders, right? A lot of the founders that aren't kind of attached to the legacy institutions. They're just in the city executing, that you wouldn't see anywhere else. And so it's been great to kind of build relationships with them and see them grow.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome that you've created a space where they can come.
Yeah.
Not a lot of skin in the game.
No.
Very
No slides.
yeah,
Yeah.
very mellow.
Yeah.
Great feedback.
Mhm.
I've been to 3 of them in total. I pitched one once.
You did.
Not getting into that, but yeah, I think it's a good experience. And public speaking's hard for everyone.
Yeah.
So I think those low key sort of, especially when you're a founder and like you're passionate,
Yeah.
but it's the messaging to everyone else who's
Yeah.
gonna like fund you and things like that.
Yeah.
I know I've heard you on multiple occasions give really good feedback in the direction of like VCs. You're like, everything you're saying here is great. I see the story, I see the vision. I need to see where the money comes into play with accelerating what you're doing. Like those
Yeah.
sort of tidbits that I feel like sometimes people aren't honest about, or they give
Yeah.
them the, hey, you're almost there. It's not really
What does that mean?
helpful.
Yeah. It's because I'm a nerd. like I'm in the shower listening to like VC, like niche VCs debate on like, oh yeah, like what's the value of this like random arbitrary metric for like
Okay.
determining blah blah. Like it's so
You
I'm
just need to be in the
constantly
know.
yeah I'm constantly hearing what they're talking about, what they like, what they don't like, what's happening. And so I don't know. It's just you see enough, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's the thing that's the thing they're gonna rip apart if you say that. But honestly, like I think, what I get excited about for what your business idea is not necessarily the pitch like critiques, right? I think that's okay, but like pitches aren't businesses,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Like I care more about like, cool, like how are you thinking about the problem? Like what do you need from us, right, as the community, right? If it's like I have this concept of an idea, right? I have this thing, right? I don't know how to get it from like I know like how like what an MVP would even look like to and what I would even test. Cool. Me and Miles, like we can like chop shop and figure
Yeah.
out how to not get you scammed by AWS bills. If it's like, oh yeah, like all right, cool. I have this MVP. I've talked to a couple customers, but like I really want to just like meet more and talk to more, increase that sample size. Cool. Like we can find you some introductions, right? We have a network. So
You
like
have a very large network.
we have a network as a community, and so
Are you still tracking it?
and how do we leverage it? I don't know, it's so tough. I can talk about network management for a
I know.
while.
I just know it's something that I think it's really cool that you're focused in on, because I always joke about it.
Yeah.
If LinkedIn is our greatest professional networking
Yeah.
tool, we're all
Yeah.
not doing good enough.
I think my favorite tool that we should probably be using is Happenstance.
Okay.
Right now, I like that. They're probably gonna repost. They'll be like, "Ooh, yeah, like start up."
Get in there.
Yeah. But like, it's great at like, all right, cool. Like, let's say you're working with like a founder doing supply chain software, and you're like, "Who in my network invests in supply chain software?" You can ask that question. You'll look at your email on LinkedIn, and it'll give you the list.
Oh, and you are also you're a email to zero person too, aren't you?
I do. I love Superhuman.
I wish I could be in that group.
I try.
It's hard.
Honestly, it's the last. I just need like an hour,
And you're good.
and like, I can
You
knock
get
through
through
it.
it.
I can knock through it.
Is there any events that anyone who's listening should be aware of coming up in Q4 that you know of, specifically in the startup space?
Yeah, so me and Miles run like a 0 to 1 product meetup.
Cool. Okay.
Um,
I'll make sure I put the link in there.
monthly. That's like we're still like we only have done one, right? So we're still figuring it out
Okay.
on around like what should the programming look like, but tactically, like um I don't know. I throw at least like 2 or 3 founders a month at Miles. I'm just like a lot of students. I'm just like, or honestly, a lot of people just like getting into it,
Hmm.
uh, and just have no idea how to start with like on the product side of things. Even if they have like an idea or like have a kind of a network and they know like really in depth with the problem, but like kind of like what is the specific feature that I need to build first to test this hypothesis, and how do I go about doing that? I throw a lot of those founders at Miles all the time. He loves it, but like we were like, we should just condense all that into like one day a month
Make it
because he
easier.
actually has a business to run, and so he can't like do that all the time.
Yeah.
And so that was like kind of the origin birth of 0 to 1 product meetup. We wanted to be kind of work sessiony. I don't know. Probably like next time I'll ask people to like come with like, hey, like this is the specific question I have. But like at the very least, it's a builder meetup. At the very
That's
least, it's a
awesome.
builder meetup. People like interested in building product, right? Building something to sell to a decent amount of people. At the very least, and a lot in this kind of like high growth startup space.
Are you guys hosting that somewhere specifically? Is
We
it?
hosted at Avenue Workspaces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shout out Rena.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to plug Avenue at all
Yeah,
so people
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Avenue Workspaces is a kind of a nonprofit co-working space located in predominantly the heart of Oakland, but it also has a space in Uptown, dedicated to kind of these entrepreneurs and people in the startup and tech scene, and giving them kind of flexible, low cost co-working space next to like our core institutions, right? UPMC, Pitt, CMU. And so we see like a lot of kind of companies that have spin out of these institutions. We see um, companies hiring talent from these institutions. We see remote workers,
It's good to be in the.
early stage founders just in the ecosystem.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, there's the plug for Avenue.
Yeah,
We love
shout out.
that. Yeah, we love them.
Yeah,
Great. I feel like people also don't know about those sort of resources
yeah,
always.
yeah,
Um, I know whenever I've met anyone who's like, "Oh, I'm interested in like, startup specific stuff."
yeah,
When I met you,
yeah,
that conversation changed drastically because I was like, "Do I have the introduction for
yeah,
you?" Before it was like, "Well, I know this and the pieces," and you're like, "I have a spreadsheet. Let me tell them to come down and get a coffee at Divvy."
I do. And like grab a coffee at Divvy
Yeah, or we
or
had
Red Hawk.
tries.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, or wherever we're
yeah.
going. Um, Obviously technology plays a lot into your day-to-day, your personal
Mm-hmm.
life, what you're doing out in the
Yeah.
community. Has there been a point in the recent changes
Mm-hmm.
of like how AI is evolving, the way that
Yeah.
technology is playing into ethical conversations, that you've hit roadblocks in what you're trying to accomplish?
I think so. This has been this is one of the biggest AI has been like one of the biggest magnifying glasses on the Pittsburgh startup ecosystem um ever. Right? Like at least since the time the AV boom of like 2019, right? Like this has been the magnifying glass on everything happening in the city. I think there are a lot of national kind of conversations about like um, how are we thinking about AI and energy usage? How are we thinking about um, kind of data centers and water usage and energy usage, and how can we leverage AI to solve some of these problems, right? Like to create more energy, to make a desalination work, right? To kind of solve these problems that we were already gonna have to solve anyway. It's just the timeline got accelerated.
Mhm.
And so that's a conversation. Um, in like the day-to-day workflow, like kind of on the ground on startup land, um, like I think there's some like utility in like some of the AI workflow, CRM, some like the network management stuff. Like I think that space has kind of been underutilized. That we need to value more in strategic network building and how we leverage that. Like I think I'm passionate about that space, but people are gonna try to like do the hey, can we leverage AI to like evaluate companies and like and or build startups at scale. And I'm just like, that is in and of itself an oxymoron, right? Like the best companies break half the rules.
Yeah.
Right. And that's going to be the case until the end of time, because that's just how the power law and the fundamentals of startups work. And like the best investors all look different. Right. And it's really about like evaluating the specific kind of like we said with the NBA prospect. It's like brick by brick. Like, what is the specific context here? Right. What would make this work?
Yeah. And who works well together?
Right. Who works
Huge
well?
part.
What and who would make this work?
Yeah.
Right. And that's every single startup, every single time, in every single context. Right. And we try to like shortchange it. We try to come up with rules and this is how you should do it. But like every single time,
There's no
without
playbook.
fail,
Yeah.
the best break half of that. Right. Like they spit in the face of your rules.
Yep.
Right. And so like that, I don't know, like, and that's kind of antithetical to this kind of concept of like kind of predictive intelligence and can we kind of optimize for like what the best looks like. Like maybe you can get above average, but above average isn't good enough.
Agreed.
Right? Like you got to be top 10%, top 5%.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
Yeah, you have to. You're gonna survive.
Exactly.
Yeah. I do think it is very cool how many AI startups
Yeah.
have evolved out of like
The
There-
scene.
there's so much more access to, you don't need as many people.
Mhm.
There are things that you can not have to worry about.
Mhm.
And I mean, geez, we should all still have an HR manager, those sort of things. But like there's some things that can get a little bit easier at the beginning, which I do think is good. Do you have any companies right now in Pittsburgh? And if you don't want to share
Yeah.
any names, it's okay. I was gonna say that you feel very passionately about or people should keep an eye on right now. I just know you have a lot of background on them, so that's why I'm
Dope.
asking.
Some of the most interesting ones right now. Cold Start, right, with Brandon and Mary.
Mhm.
I recorded a podcast with them probably about a year ago now. They're doing some really interesting stuff in the AI go-to-market space. Really exciting traction with them. I'm really pumped for the next couple months.
Cool.
All-time favorite Relay with Miles, right? Like people who know me know I adore that company, and I think Miles is one of the most exceptional founders any of us will ever have the pleasure of meeting.
We gotta keep him here.
He's locked down. He has a house. I think Relay is like the classic. It took me a while to kind of really get it, right? Really get his vision. Like at the start, I was like, oh yeah, this guy's competent. I mean, my confidence sensor went off, and I was like, I like him. You should stick around. But it took me a while to be like, oh wow, like that's what you're doing, really. That's the vision here. And like, I don't know, it's like an onion. It's like the more you look at his company, right? You can just look at the podcast and get a whole breakdown on Relay. I think the more questions you ask him, the more you kind of dive into his company, the more you dive into how he thinks about like kind of mitigating risk and kind of maximizing upside and kind of every step of the process, the more you're like, oh yeah, this guy's like, it was like I'm talking to Jeff Bezos and like 86 or something like that.
I love that.
it's like yeah, I get it.
Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
So those are the two that come to mind right
Yeah.
now that I love that.
I love.
That's awesome. I haven't seen Miles in a minute, but I need to do a little more research on who my current favorites are. I guess I haven't been local recently, so I feel a little out of the loop, which is okay.
Another founder I want to mention, kind of Matt Nicosia with Zaire.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He just dropped his. He just kind of publicly announced and publicly launched, kind of making it easy for agents to access organizational data sets. It's basically what he does. If you believe in an agentic future,
Check that
I
out.
think Matt is probably a bet I'd make. Really, he's a great person to bet on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. What do you think these startups right now, other than capital,
Yeah.
because we know that's a huge
Yeah.
thing, could use support in? Because we've talked about like programming could be better. I don't want to bring up the hot take, but I will. I feel like sometimes our academia gets in the way of some of the things happening here.
Yeah.
Just like you said, if you're not like an alumni, sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard. So What do you think is another thing we can?
So I think this is also this take is informed by my venture point of view.
Okay.
Right, like as the preface, right? Like I'm used to conversations between kind of like with like the top tier venture capitalists talking about like, oh yeah, between like Sequoia and Founders Fund and General Catalyst and YC and all these great like do any of them actually add value, right? Like where Founders Funds on one end where like the best founders don't need you, and they don't even take board seats. And like on the other end, it's like, you know, more of a full stack Andreessen where like they like have suites of support, right? Those are people that like with the greatest brands of all time who are pumping millions of dollars in companies, and they don't even know if they're moving the needle on founder outcomes, right? What does that say about lighter touch programming, right, at a local level, right? And so this question of how do you accelerate and support founders at scale, right? I think it starts with like you got to eliminate the hubris of like founders needing your advice. Right? You got to chuck that out the window, right? Like your experience as a marketing tech executive in 2015, irrelevant, right? Like maybe you might have one nugget, but you can't scale that.
Yeah.
And so where does that leave you, right? It means kind of founder community networks, right? Founders are always great resources to each other. That's what we need to do more of, right? We need more founder dinners. We need more founder meetups. It means strategic network building, right? To external capital markets, to first customers, right? With the corporates, right? Get out the Excel sheet, right? If you have a hardware portfolio, you got to know like all the hardware investors in the Midwest, right? Like if all your companies are selling to I know manufacturers, break out the Excel sheet. Right, like that's, you know, we accelerate the timeline to kind of first customers to investor introductions, right? We accelerate, right? That's our job, not necessarily to change direction, right? I can't tell you if it's a bad idea or not. Your customer can, right? And like in that kind of like process. So I think that's what we can do better on the ESO side, just like sales and marketing, right? Like there's nothing, no strategy. No, like,
there's no
partnerships.
Yeah.
Right? No strategy, no partnerships. Just like straight up sales and marketing. Get out the Excel sheet. Get out the email.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Do your research.
Yeah.
Keep things updated.
Yeah.
Good way to look at it. Don't you wish you could just sometimes go, hey, I need you to come here and live here for the next year. I need you to do everything you did there here. And I need it to work for all the people that I'm connected to here in the startup community. It doesn't work like that. If someone's listening to us right now, sitting here talking about things through a VC lens, through community support, those sort of things, and they are interested in something that you're doing because you're one of two in your exact title, which I know there's other people like you in the city, what would you tell them? Like, where should they look? What community should they be coming to? What's your business idea to meet more people? What should they do?
They should shoot me a message on LinkedIn.
Well, like, obviously, everyone who listens should shoot you a message. Yeah,
you should shoot me a message on LinkedIn, and like I have a calendar link for a reason.
Let's get scheduled.
Yeah, like I have a calendar link for a reason if you want to get involved. Generally though, like I don't know, like for people who want to invest, like be on the venture side, for people who want to support founders, like do it. Just like go outside. Like I cannot say like host a meetup of all your homie founders and then kind of post it on Luma, put it on LinkedIn, share with me. I'll put it on the newsletter. Like get out the Excel sheet, like start networking, right? Like this is all your ability to network and leverage that network. That's all it is. And we overcomplicate it, but like, and that's all like time. That's all time and effort. If you want to do it well.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember starting from zero.
Exactly. And now look at Brooke. Brooke is like the one. Right. Between here and Pittsburgh and Columbus, like there's not nigh a soul.
I know them all. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for that. But one of the things I wanted to bring up, I think it was end of Q1, beginning of Q2, you wrote an article
Yeah.
on LinkedIn
Yeah.
about some of the things we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to touch on that because
Yeah.
it had great reception.
Yeah.
You had a couple people like talking about it on another podcast, some other like
No.
posts. Like,
No.
yeah, let's, because I just want everyone here who doesn't know you to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
that like you are saying all these things, but you're also doing them.
Yeah. So kind of my first year, I was on the ground, right? I was in the data. And I was like, why is there no capital here? Right. And I was basically just asking that question. Right. Like, why are the meetups hosted by nonprofits and not private capital, right? Everything we've touched on. The answer I got from a lot of the people that have been in the city for a while, there's something of revolving around like our founders aren't good enough, right? Like we don't have enough exits, not calling enough operators, like
Okay.
things like that. But I'm in the data and I'm on the ground right now, so I'm seeing like, oh yeah, this person's like former exited founder building in BBI, like doing like some crazy thing in like some crazy short amount of time, right? I'm seeing people execute right thoroughly, and then I'm in the data and I'm seeing like we guys made unicorns in Miami, more exits over the last couple of years, right? Like with a fraction of the capital. And you know, I was like, we just don't know who our best companies are. We're not in any of our best companies. That's the answer, right? If any of us were in Duolingo, we would have local capital, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like the tactical answer, but then tell me why.
Okay.
And so year 2 was kind of broaching back to this article. You know, I go to other cities, right? I hear like similar stories about like weird, you know, undercapitalized, yada yada yada. And so my brain was like, well, if you're paying lower prices and if, you know, you're still seeing outcomes like Duolingo, Gecko, and a bridge, this should show up in returns, right? Like that should mean you should get better returns, right? Just cost and revenue, right? Supply and demand. And so I was like, what's the data say, right? And I was like, there's nothing been written good on like this kind of like geography-based venture investing between the coasts, like since like pre-COVID, like there hadn't been anything good written. And so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like nerd out. Like we're just gonna compile all the research. I'm gonna call a pitch book and ask them to give me like returns by geographic area. I want a list of all the firms that are executing on the strategy, and I'm just like gonna reach out to them like one by one, get out the Excel sheet, right? And so I chatted with like over a dozen managers, like kind of figuring out their strategy. People in Texas, Minnesota, Seattle, Denver, Florida, right? Like just all across the country, Ohio, right? Like all across the country. And I just wanted to ask the question of like, can you make money doing this adventure? Who's making money? Why does this happen? Right? Like kind of, and like just a lot of these like first principles questions there. And I eventually got to like there's a lot of like nerdiness in it, but as far as Pittsburgh goes, right? I eventually got to that point of like, okay, we're like weirdly undercapitalized relative to the amount of companies. Like again, one of the worst places to be in North America if like pre-seed seed.
Don't tell them. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I'll flag the alarms. Like I want to flag the alarms. Like sound the bell, Paul Revere, right? Like
let them know.
Let them know, right? That it's not we don't have great companies. Is that we just haven't been in our great companies, right? And that means we can't, you know, that money doesn't recycle. And so that's like, you know, that was like one of the things, and it's because of these very tactical reasons why we haven't been in our great companies. So you can look at the article, but like I was like,
we'll link it. Yeah,
exactly. Like it was the very strategic, tactical. We're structurally, you know, our historic vehicles haven't structurally been able to kind of access them, and all that jazz. And so, it let me nerd out, and it was great, and kind of like got a lot of kind of context in the in between the coast, investor scene. And now I'm just like, all right, cool, let's do it.
Like I have more information now. And did you get to meet a lot of new people in doing all that research? And
yeah,
awesome.
again, a lot of everyone from like you take SF and you take New York and everyone in the middle doing venture, right? A lot of them.
Yeah, there's quite a few. We're not just the 4 big cities that everyone talks about all the time. Yeah.
Dang. Wow. Well, the year is on the exit. I mean, we're heading to Q4. Do we have anything we need to be on the lookout for you coming next year that you're willing to share? I
I know you're gonna lock in and you have hopefully big announcements, but
hopefully.
we'll have to circle back, I guess.
I mean, tactically, like if you're a founder at pre-seed seed in the city, hit me up. We should grab coffee. At the very least, I'll probably know someone that like has something useful for you.
Miles.
But there's a chance, especially like when you're like looking for capital. Like I'm constantly having conversations with external investors. I've taken on the IR role for the city a little bit, so I'm constantly having conversations with external capital, and like so anything I can do to connect those dots, always great. But like that's what it takes, right? It's a one by one by one by one by one, and eventually you build up a consortium of people being like, oh wow, there are interesting Pittsburgh companies here. There are interesting Pittsburgh deals.
Yeah,
maybe we should just start handing out checks, right? Maybe we should just fly out there a little bit. And so that's what it takes, right?
We're gonna have a new airport.
Yeah, exactly.
You should come visit.
Yeah, and if I can only do that if the founders reach out, right? Like if I know you, that's the only way I can do it. So
gotta build that strategic network.
Yeah. Make sure I know you.
Yeah, everyone, make sure we'll get all the links that you want to share. We'll make sure everyone knows you were a mascot in a past life. We'll tell everybody everything. Well, we're coming to the end of our time here.
Yeah,
I've had a good time with you. Great.
Yeah.
I take it back. I've had a great time with you.
Dope.
Energy's there. The passion, felt all of it. Also just feels like we're talking, like in your apartment, like just.
Yeah, I got all these lights.
Yeah, this is actually Charles's new digs. I went to his moving party and this is where he ended up. No, is there anything you want to share in closing before I send us out?
This is the inflection point for the city, right? In a lot of ways, right? We've never had as big of a magnifying glass nationally on what we're doing. CMU is always great. Pitt's always great, right? Like we have these flagship institutions, but like as a city, right, we've never had as much of a magnifying glass on it. We have to take advantage of the moment, right? Like if you you flash back 10 years and like the founders have been here, right? The founders have been executing, right? Like they punch far above their weight not from like oh yeah, you're a cool kid, but like we've built global class companies here for a reasonably small amount of volume of total companies, right? So the founders have been here. They've been executing. They've been going quickly. We got to catch up, right? Like on the support, on the infrastructure, on the investment, like we got to catch up to the speed of the founders. And that's what I want to impress on the audience. It's like that's the last part of the flywheel. That we're not in our best company. It's not that they don't exist. We're not supporting them. Not that they don't exist.
We gotta step it up.
Yeah, we gotta step it up.
We gotta do it.
We gotta do it. Forget the Excel sheet.
I'm scared to see how many Excel sheets you have.
I got the break out the Excel sheet. Every conversation with me gotta start with the Excel sheet and some emails.
Superhuman cleared the inbox, Excel sheet, email, scheduling the next coffee while you're drinking your current one.
I do that.
that was your day.
That was my day.
Oh God. Charles, it's been great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on. We have a lot to talk about outside of this podcast, and definitely have to. Maybe I'll ask you who I should of the founders right now, who I should get in here for talking about Startup Week in February. But all right, everyone, that's a wrap on another episode of the Transform Tales. I hope this discussion has inspired you to consider the transformations in your own life. I'm Brooke Addis, reminding you that the next chapter might be your best one yet. Until next time, keep evolving. See you, bye.